Kerry Ann, aka Ms Kerr, is my guest on Core Conversation today. She is a proud co-owner of the Hook & Co., which is a referral business for the arts. Think of Match.com for musicians. Anyway, so she has been really innovative in changing the way that they do business by moving to an online streaming platform. And today we'll talk about that as we venture away from fitness and talk about building relationships and networking and taking no's in business. That NO simply stands for next opportunity. Enjoy the conversation.
Nice.
Do you do a lot of these like lives and
I haven't been recently just because everybody else is going live, and I've always been one of
yes,
those people that doesn't really like doing the things that everybody else is doing.
yes.
I was in a habit before of going live and reading because I
Oh
love
yeah.
to read, and it was part of my way of kind of forcing myself to make time to read because I had other people to be accountable to. Um,
Oh,
but then that became much more difficult once everybody became quarantined and now everybody else is going live at the same time. It just didn't have the
yes.
same effect.
Right.
So I took a break from that. Also, I lost the book that I was reading at the time. Like I couldn't
Nice.
find it. So I was
Okay.
like, you know what, guys, we're going to pause for now.
Yes.
But it's definitely something I think I want to start back, maybe in a different format,
Mhm.
kind of like a mini book club kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, the live thing is here and there for me.
Yeah, I thought about doing the book thing too. Like I have obviously with Kobe's passing, like one of the first things I did, I ran out and grabbed like every one of
Ooh,
his
nice.
books, right? Like
Yeah.
his Wizard Art series, and they're like really soft and they're just like beautiful books. And yeah, I just I'm
Did you
basically
just
on.
throw your book?
No, I dropped it actually. I was trying to play it off. Thanks for pointing that out.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm on like page 30 and I bought it like 2 months ago. So I
Oh
think
my
if I was
God.
doing an IG live reading a book, it would be like the 10-year book story club
Gotcha.
kind of a thing. But just talking for a quick second about being kind of counterculture or just going in a different direction of what people do. I respect that because in my world, in the fitness world, everyone's gone online with workouts.
Yes.
And
Oh
everyone
yeah.
has their online Pilates class and their online workout stuff. So I started an online core conversation, so I didn't want to compete with that
Okay.
space.
Got you.
Instead, I'm using this to highlight what other people are doing.
That
So,
makes sense, actually. That's really smart. And I love that I saw what you did there with the play on the words at the core.
mm,
I thought that was
yeah,
really dope stuff, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, people are doing it so many different ways, and I've asked a ton of people what their models would look like. So Zoom, obviously, people are doing Zoom classes, or
Right.
they'll do some other platform, WebEx or whatever, and
Right.
people charge. They'll charge $20 per person. They'll charge $10 per person. They'll
Oh
charge
wow.
by donation.
Okay.
Some people just do IG lives where the people are they basically just have their class. Like Noam, for example, Beyond Pilates, has become a good friend of mine. He's been on my show and he has a class at noon today, for example,
Dope.
Eastern. Yes, it's
Okay.
9 o'clock Pacific. Um, yeah, so people do it in different ways. So you have to look at it from a marketing perspective. If this is your funnel, if you do a free class and 40 people see it, those are 40 people that are going to go to your site and may ask questions and then
Right.
and it may turn into $100 one-on-one session from doing a free session. So it all depends
Okay.
on if you want to use it as part of that funnel to get people into your world, you can do it. Or if you want to support your existing clients, you might be taking a cut on what you would normally be charging them, but at least you're still
Right.
connected.
That's true.
And you're in the arts, like we're all kind of warm fuzzy people. We want to see people feel good and be happy and be healthy,
Yes.
so that kind of trumps the money that you're making, and then you have to come back and find that balance, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's somewhere in the middle. And
Okay.
I have a few classes that I do, Wednesday night class for my people that at a community center where I used to teach. So I have them online doing that class, and I have my
Right.
basketball kids, my Pilates for Ballers group, Tuesday nights, and both of those are free classes
Awesome.
just to keep them connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
yeah. can you tell us, give us like your name and your business, what you do? Let's start from the top.
Okay, going back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for those who don't know me, my name is Kerry Ann Wright, also known as Ms Kerr, and I am the proud co-owner of a company called The Hook and Company. I run the entertainment division. My business partner, Michelle, runs the referral division. And in its simplest form, it's basically just a referral hub for people in the music and entertainment business. So we like to say that it's the match.com for music and entertainment.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So who are the bands that you connect with? Are they up and coming bands? Are they really established bands? Are there certain genre? Like who are
Um,
they?
you know what? It's everybody. And
Mhm.
it's not just bands. It's literally anybody that has a connection with music and entertainment. So it could be anything from like graphic designers and photographers to the artists and bands themselves to management and the administrative side of things. Let's say somebody needs decor for an event that they're having. You know,
Okay.
we can connect them to somebody to do that for them. But the thing about us is that we help save people time because we've already pre-vetted the referrals. So when you
Right.
come to us and we connect you with somebody, you know that it's somebody that's A, of good quality, B,
Hmm.
meets or exceeds our standards, and C, we'll be able to give you what you need based on your specific criteria. So it's like customized connections.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds almost like one of those people that do like home improvement networks, and then like I could just call you directly, and you can get me a plumber, and you can find me a drywall guy, and you can find me an
Yes,
electrician, so I don't have to vet those people. That's that
exactly.
sort of
One
idea.
stop shop. Yep.
One stop shop.
Yeah.
Very cool. So if I was
Thank
doing a
you.
music video, I could be like, okay, I just call you, and you can get everything. You're
That's
the
it.
middleman.
We got you covered, literally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
How long
it's
have you guys been
fun.
doing it for?
This would be our 5 year anniversary.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so it's definitely been a process. Just like with anything else, you know, we've had our ups and downs, but I think we're in a really good place right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you decide to get into this? Because that's a big venture to be the person that everyone wants to stop and at to, you know what I mean? Like, you obviously have to have some
Absolutely.
credibility too to get people to come to you. So how did you guys get into that?
Well, the hook is actually my business partner Michelle's brainchild.
Okay.
So it's a concept that she thought up however many years ago, and she didn't quite know how to bring it to fruition.
Hmm.
So once we became friends, you know, we actually started working together in another business, and through that, she's like, "Hey, I had this idea. Let me run
Mm.
it by you, see what you think." And she told me, and literally, like fireworks just exploded in my brain. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yes.
Surprisingly, nobody in the industry has done something like that before, at least to our knowledge.
Hmm.
And so there was definitely a need there. So I helped her develop it, and we've just been running with it since. I think she brought it to me partially because of like just my experience in the industry in general.
Okay.
I have a very diverse network. I'm a people person. So, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
I connect with people very easily, and it allows me to kind of have my hand in a lot of different pots.
Yes.
And because of that, I've been able to literally have almost like a web of access to different people.
Yes. I get you.
Up until this point, it's never really been something that I've exercised because I didn't know how to, you know?
Mm.
So when she brought the concept to me, I was like, oh, okay, this makes
Yes.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just kind of snowballed from there.
Right. Yeah. And I can see how that happens because we have, if you're like, I'm the type of person too where like you just meet people and you connect with them and stuff like that, and you never really call any favors from those people.
No, because I mean, there's not a need. You're just building a relationship,
Right.
right? Which is the main thing about networking. Like people think, oh, I've got to network so that I can get this from this person and get that from that person. No,
Hmm.
networking, you're just supposed to build relationships. What
Yes.
comes out of it later might come of it fine, but like it
Hmm.
shouldn't be the main focus, you know?
Right. Exactly. A friend of mine said it this way: the five keys to networking or marketing or building your business are relationship, 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 and relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
So
Yeah.
if your side of the business is the networking and connecting with people, what is her niche? Your business partner.
Actually, that is not my side. That is
Okay.
just kind of like a bonus.
Okay, right.
Her main division is the referral hub. She is literally like the networking queen,
Okay.
which is also, I think, why we have such a great dynamic because we're both able to connect with people very well.
Hmm.
But she also has an amazing business sense. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, like this girl is corporate America on a silver platter.
Nice.
But our balance comes in really nicely because my main forte is the creative side.
Okay.
So I actually run the division called the Hook Entertainment.
Okay.
And my main focus is the end user perspective when it
Okay.
comes to entertainment. So more so the product and
Right.
how, people's fans and audiences receive that.
Hmm.
It's cool because where I'm not so strong, she is amazing. And where she's not so strong, I'm amazing. So it's very
Yes.
seldom that we're both ever really lacking in anything.
Perfect.
So I
Yeah.
think that's why we've been able to continue growing so well over the years.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Hey guys.
Yeah. People's giving you shout outs there.
I know, I love my friends. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And that's just it. I mean, we say that you have to kind of staff to your weaknesses, right? Or just not be threatened by someone who's good at something that you're not.
Yes.
You know.
Absolutely. And it's difficult sometimes because I mean there's some things that she's just phenomenal at that I'm kind of like, "Ah, I wish I could do that." But
Yes.
because like she's such a great friend, like she's also one of my best friends,
Mhm.
but she's also a very supportive business partner. So I'm able to not take those moments as challenges, rather they're learning experiences. So, she's
Yes.
always very open to sharing information with me, just like I
Mhm.
am with her.
Yes.
So those weaknesses that we have in each other are always developing into something stronger.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. The have you guys had any like huge blow up like I'm not talking to you fights in the
Oh
middle
my
of your
God, all the
business?
time.
Okay. Okay.
We battle each other almost like every other day.
Yeah.
But there's such a mutual respect and again, friendship that
Hmm.
is the foundation of our relationship that it's never like I'm not speaking to you ever again. It's kind of like, you know what, I don't want to talk to you right now, but I'll
Yes.
bother you later.
Right, 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 right. So on the flip side, do you have anything like ironclad, like who gets the business if this blows up sort of thing? Is there anything in line like that?
No, because like blowing up is never even an option. It's
Right.
it's kind of like we've built this together. This is just what it is. We're going to make it work no matter what.
Hmm.
But I think that if it were to ever come to that point, because it is her brainchild, I would personally just be like, take it and go.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very mature of you.
Thanks.
You know, and I don't say that like tritely, like, oh, you're so mature. I think
No.
one of those things that when you have like an emotional maturity, you can handle one, if someone's good at something, you're not good at it, you know, and how that balances out your business so you can both move forward. And two, when
Hmm.
those conflicts come, you can set those things aside and do what's best for the business.
Absolutely.
And then in the end, you can respect, you know, who brought that to the table and what you brought in. And yeah, that's all good stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not even an easy road to get there.
Mhm.
Like I said, we actually started working together in another business. It was a network marketing business called Vima.
Okay.
And through that Vima business, we did a lot of personal development.
Hmm.
She's also a Reiki practitioner
Okay.
and spiritual healer. And through, I guess, all of those experiences with the personal development and the things that, she does as a Reiki practitioner, there's a lot of like introspection and enlightenment around self.
Yes.
So understanding ourselves as individuals definitely helps us integrate with each other to find out,
Yes.
those moments of balance and navigating boundaries.
So well said. I mean, because I mean, I think like it's like a marriage, right? Like you have to be a whole self coming to this. You can't wait for someone and look for someone who is not whole, like, you know, to make you whole.
Yes.
And the same in business. Like I
Hmm.
can be whole and know who I am and still have some areas of growth, but be whole
Definitely.
and it'll work, right? So
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The have you watched any of the Michael Jordan
No, not
lessons?
yet.
Okay.
I
I'm not
keep
gonna
hearing
spoil it
about it
for you.
though. You know
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
It's totally okay because by the time I actually get around to watching it, I'll probably forget it. So like, go nuts.
All right. There's an interesting story about the owner of the Bulls at that time, and he was a mastermind, and he drafted, Jordan. He picked up Pippen. He thought Rodman would be a good fit. All the same, but at the same time, the team got to a place where they were so good and so successful, and they won their championships. And at that point, he looked at Jordan and he looked at Phil Jackson and all these guys with jealousy. So
Really?
so it's really interesting how his personality, we're talking about being whole and knowing who you are and all that stuff, comes
Right.
into play because he was a mastermind and such a great visionary. He put this team together, and when they got the success that he built, and everyone looked at Phil Jackson and said, "You're the man for doing this," and Jordan for doing this, he was like, "Well, let's just blow this up and start over again. Let's, these guys are gonna, their contracts are gonna end, so we'll just like blow the whole team up, and we'll
Okay.
we'll start a rebuilding phase." And Jordan was like,
Wow.
"Yeah." So Jordan's like, "Well, why don't you wait till we lose first, and then you start your rebuilding?"
Yeah, like I don't get it.
I don't get it. And so me with my kind of counseling mind, I'm looking at this. I'm like, you want some of the credit here. If he
Oh,
blows the team up, he could build it up again and get the credit again, so
that
people
he
would
built it.
recognize that he built it because no one is giving
Wow.
him the credit for the build. You know, only the people who are winning at the thing, right? So he was famously quoted for saying, "Players don't win championships; organizations do."
Wow. Oh my God. I've heard that before.
Yeah, so everyone got so mad when he said that. He's just like, last time I haven't seen you shoot a three-pointer, so I don't know what you're talking about, right? Like Jordan was really outspoken and players were really hating on him for
Right.
saying that, but that was him speaking out of his jealousy because he didn't know who he was in his own business.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have that security to say like, well, I contributed to this.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes, it's pretty deep.
Okay. I think it's funny that that whole taking credit thing is such a big thing, especially in like music and entertainment. Fun fact, I think it was about 5 years ago actually now. I was part of a girl group
Okay.
called Sonata Rose.
Nice.
The lead singer of the group was my best friend, Crystal, who's still doing solo music to this day, and she's absolutely phenomenal.
Crystal.
Wilson, well, Crystal Voice actually is
Okay.
what her name is.
Yeah.
You can find her on Instagram, Crystal Voice One.
All right.
And we went through a span of three third members within like, I don't know, 6 months. And it was
Mm-mm.
all because the third members could not grasp the concept of being in a group and they were cheesed that they weren't considered the main singer, the lead singer.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like, it just blew my mind because I'm like, well, this is a group. Like, if you want to be a solo singer, then just go and be a solo singer. Do you know what I
Right.
say?
Yeah.
Even in some of the projects that I work on, in almost everything that I do, I kind of make sure that I am, what's the word I'm looking for? I do a lot, right?
In the
And
background?
in the background, yes.
Yes.
And I do a lot because I know that I have a lot of skills that can contribute to the overall like positive outcome of the situation.
Yes.
But nine times out of 10, I don't want credit for it. Like, I don't want people to know
Mm.
everything that I'm doing because I just want the end result, you know?
Yes.
And I think that even sometimes I have difficulty taking the acknowledgement
Mhm.
when it is there. I don't
Okay.
know if that's like I don't know what you would even call it, but it's definitely
Yeah.
something that I kind of just shy away from because I just don't want the attention.
Yeah. If I was to give you permission to brag for a moment, wow, look at that face.
Oh my God, I didn't
What
even.
what are some of your successes? Like, what would you say are some of the things you've done that have been just really cool to see unfold and be a great success for an artist?
Um, oh my gosh. I don't even know.
Okay.
I've done a lot of I guess you could say like directing in terms of video shoots, photo shoots, helping put together an overall concept for
Concept.
events.
Hmm.
I do a lot, like I'm an ideas person. So
Okay.
I literally have like a notepad and books and documents on the computer that are just a bunch of outlandish concepts, video treatments for songs and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if I could give you specifics.
Okay. That's fine. You don't have to.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. You really don't have to. I was just kind of
Okay,
curious
cool.
about that. And, but I think that I kind of feel the same about that. And I think there's a lot of people out there that I've spoken with that had that same perspective of they don't necessarily want to be like the lead singer, but it feels good to know that you are an integral part of someone else's success.
Yes, integral. That's the word I was looking for.
Nice.
Good word.
Nice. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, and but that's it. And especially in the fitness world, you know, as a sport conditioning specialist, as a Pilates guy, you know, the people that I work with, I feel good when they could say, oh, Martin helped me, or Martin did this, or whatever. But when I could see them just win their championship, whether that championship is being able to play with their kids or actually win a championship in a sport, there's a sense of being like, yeah, I can help them
I
with
did
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
you know?
dope.
Hmm.
Okay, so I mean, let's turn the tables here. Can you brag
Yeah.
a little bit?
Okay.
Let's hear about your resume.
Um, well, okay, I think of yeah, that's tough for me to do too, right off the bat. But there's well, Nick Stauskas is one of the
Okay.
gentlemen that I had on the show earlier, and he played in the NBA, and now he played in Spain. Now he's on a knee surgery, so he's back and recovering. And
Mm,
obviously the world has stopped too, so he's not playing.
yeah.
Um, so he's been doing Pilates for a long time. So when he was in town and training, I had just a small window of time where I got a chance to work with him.
Mm,
And he was doing Pilates before me. He's done Pilates after me. So it's not like I could even take credit for any part of his athletic career.
got
But
you.
but it's been fun to just be like one part of his puzzle and just to show him different things and to continue that appreciation and love for that for conditioning with Pilates. So
I
uh,
love that.
yeah, like that sort of thing. I could say I've worked with him. Like it's one thing to put it on your resume, but it's another thing to know that I helped him to understand the value of recovery as part of his training.
Yeah,
So it's not just about free
dope.
throws, it's about, you know, or like jump squats or whatever. It is also about that recovery piece, right? Like
Yes,
those are key things. So having that on my resume is something that I helped him with makes me feel good, even if he never puts a post to say like I'm here because of Martin. You know what I
got
mean?
you. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, what would you find is the most difficult thing about working with somebody who, like you said, has had experience doing Pilates before, but not necessarily like with your instruction? Like, what makes your Pilates differ from other people's?
That's a good question. There's two real answers to that. One is my eye, like my perspective, the way that I look at things. If you think about it, when you think about Pilates, you think about women, you think about dancers, you think about, you
Yeah,
know,
the yoga
those,
poses or
right,
whatever.
exactly, right? So I can't pull off any yoga poses, right? So now it's going to come from the perspective of a guy who played sports as well. My
Gotcha.
background is football, my background is track. I played basketball with my kids. So I'm looking at Pilates from the perspective of, as an athlete, how can I help you to perform better?
Gotcha.
So that's kind of the perspective I bring to the table, even if you're not an athlete. I look at it from that perspective of functional movement,
Okay.
as opposed to a flowing, dancey type movement. Um, and obviously, there's people that are in the dance world that can do that as well. But I think that when
Right.
people come to me, they're coming to me because they want, not in a cocky way, but they want to look like me. They know that
Oh,
they're
got
not going
you.
to be the person that can take their foot and wrap it behind their head and that's, you know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
look at that stuff and they're like, I can't do that. And I'm like, I can't either. Let's go. Right?
Fantastic.
So there's a sense of just connecting with me as a person, and
Yeah.
then from there it's the way I look at exercises and the way that I bring my toolbox to that person that makes it different for them.
Okay. So definitely more a focus on strength and form as opposed to flexibility.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have a whole soapbox on flexibility versus mobility, um,
Okay.
because I
What's the
feel
difference?
exactly. I think people think about flexibility and they just think about being bendy. Think of like a yogi who can just,
Okay.
like turn us like a pretzel.
A
I
pretzel.
think, right? So as I think that most people, and when I'm dealing with my athletes especially, I don't want them flexible. I want them mobile. I
Okay.
want them to have strength to a full range of motion,
Got
right?
you.
So if I have a goalie, for example, he needs to be able to get down on the ice, reach out to stop a puck and then get back, hop back up. If he's just flexible, he's prone to pulling a groin or pulling something because the muscle is so relaxed. You still want some tension,
Oh,
but you also want that range of motion to be able to get out and really reach. So I really train people to be
okay.
strong through their full range of motion as opposed to just being bendy.
Got you. Huh. You learn something new every day.
There you go.
That's
See,
awesome.
got a couple comments here coming through.
Okay, let's see. Let's see.
RG Fox.
You're right. You're right. You always got to flip the
Mm,
script sometimes.
mm,
But also, I'm just an inquisitive person too. So I'm the one that
yes,
likes to ask questions. Normal, strong range of motion.
yes,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Cool.
I love asking questions. I love just like listening to people's stories too, right? So
Yeah.
we were talking earlier about successes
Mm.
and just in our messaging earlier. So how would you define success for you in this business?
Such a good question. And it's definitely a question that for me over the years has changed, like all
Okay.
the time. If you had asked me that a year ago, I would have said, just being happy at the end of the day.
Yeah. At the
But
end
I
of the
think
day, not
at
the
the end
end
of
of
the
the
day,
day. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
at the start of the day, at the end of the day, throughout the day, like just happiness is,
Hmm.
what success is. I think right now, I would say the definition of success would be doing what you love to do without letting the industry ruin it
Mm. Yeah.
while adding as much value to people as possible.
So you've thought about this.
I have. I put a
Yes.
little bit of thought into it.
I
It
could
comes up
tell.
every
Yes.
now and again.
Hmm.
It's like, especially back when I used to do network marketing, they always used to ask, what's your purpose? What's your
Hmm.
why?
What's your
And
why?
what's your why? And it's a very important thing to identify and fully understand and be able to communicate. And like for me, my why has always just been I just want to help people. I really just want to add value to people. I feel like part of my purpose is doing everything that I possibly can do with love because I'm just a big ball of love and I love love. But being able to incorporate love into what you do is super important because it adds
Hmm.
it intensifies it, it
It
adds
does.
something different and more to what you're doing, which means that the people that you are working for or working with will receive more because you're giving more.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And that's what I love about this platform is because people see that, they hear that, and they're like, I'm gonna sign up with her because she, like she knows what she's doing and she will probably care about me.
That's it. Yeah.
And so how can the industry tarnish that love for what you do?
Ooh, I think the best example of this goes back to when I first, I guess, started working professionally in entertainment. My history, I started off as a dancer. People primarily knew me as a dancer or a model. And dance was never anything that I ever would have wanted to pursue as a career. But I had, a lot of friends being like, oh my God, you should just be a dancer. You should dance.
Mhm.
So I studied at York University for a couple of years. That was the start of my professional, you know,
Yeah.
pathway into dance. And I realized I didn't want to be like an instructor or a choreographer. I suck at choreography. I just wanted to dance.
Okay.
I started dancing professionally with two companies. One was Afro Caribbean, one was Afro Contemporary.
Hmm.
And as much as I loved performing, it just started to feel like work. And then it
Right.
started to feel like a task for me to have to force myself to want to go and dance, to want to go to rehearsal, to push myself through, those challenging moments when my body is just not doing the things that I want it to do or I expect it to do.
Right.
So eventually I stopped dancing because I just didn't love it as much anymore.
Yeah, it
I
fizzled
didn't
out.
yeah, I didn't love it enough to push through the struggle. So dance is definitely something that I still love doing. And if I really try, I'm still very good at it, but it's not my passion.
Gotcha.
because I don't have the will or the discipline to do it through the struggle. So
Mm,
the industry, I shouldn't just say the industry, but doing dance as a job is definitely what ruined it for me at the time.
right. I like
You
how you
know,
said like the will to do it through the struggle.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I
And
mean, that
so,
there's a lot of them. It
yeah,
doesn't matter
yeah.
what you're doing. You could be a graphic designer, you could be a Pilates instructor, you could be a life coach,
Mhm.
you could be somebody working a 9 to 5 at Bell or Rogers or whatever your job may be. But if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to want to wake up and go to work in the morning and actually be good at what you're being paid to do. And
Right.
I refuse to take on any work that doesn't inspire me or I don't
Hmm.
feel like I can enjoy doing, because I know that if I don't enjoy doing it, I'm not going to do a good job for that person. In
Yes.
which case, what are you paying me for?
Right. Exactly. Well, you
Yeah.
can still be competent. That's the real, that's the danger of it though, right? Like you can still
Yeah.
be competent at something that you hate doing.
That's true, but why would you settle for being competent when you can be amazing?
But a lot of people settle for competent.
They do, and that's their business, but it's not my prerogative. I'm not on
Yes.
this earth to settle, you know?
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
that's,
that's a good kind of key to where you're at in your life too, right? Those things that you could do, but when you lose that will to fight through it and you lose that passion to do it, like that's a good like
yeah,
time to reevaluate.
absolutely. And it's not to say
Yes.
that we don't have the days where we wake up and we're like, ugh, I just don't feel like doing this today. But
Mhm.
understanding that like sometimes those are fleeting moments.
Yes.
I think the time to really take those for merit and for weight is when it keeps on happening
Mhm.
consistently and consecutively. Start here. When did you start doing what you're doing now, your Pilates?
Well, it's funny. I started out in social work. So
Oh,
I did my master's in counseling, like marriage and
okay.
family therapy. And I went straight into working with youth at risk and in housing and stuff like that. And then from there, there was kids I was working out with, just connecting with them back to
Okay.
relationship, right? So
Nice.
yeah, so I was building a relationship with them, and over time I realized that I was having better conversations and better connections with them over the bench press than like in the psychology chair, right?
Oh, okay.
So after a while, I had a friend who was in personal training, and they're like, you would love this. This would be fun for you. And I was like, you actually get paid to just work out with people? Like, are you kidding me?
That's
So
fantastic. You get paid for anything these days.
you can totally. So once I realized that that was it, I signed up for it. I did some courses. This girl was my mentor, and she started to just hand me clients. And then over time, like one client turned into two, and two turned into five, five turned into 10. And then I reached a point where it's like, okay, well, do I keep doing this or whatever?
Mm.
And I decided to just jump. I figured I have an education. I can fall back on that if this business doesn't work.
Yes,
And
nice.
that was in 2002.
Okay.
So I've been
Wow.
doing that. Yeah. So this 18 years I've been in fitness, and Pilates more recently has become my niche over the last 5 or 6 years, where I
Okay.
recognize that one, there's not too many men teaching Pilates. Two, there's not too many brothers teaching it at all. Right. So yeah.
Facts.
Right. So with that, it's become my passion to get more men into Pilates, get more athletes doing Pilates. And yeah, so from taking that leap, I've just
I was just
continued
gonna
to
say.
just, yeah, run with that and just chase after those passions. And, and like you're saying about those passions as well, once we discover things that we like, we can then start to marry all of those different elements into the thing that just makes us feel good about waking up and feeling good at the end of every
Yeah,
day.
exactly. That's it. Have you ever had that moment since your most recent realization that Pilates is like your
Mhm.
fire right now?
Yes.
That you were kind of like, maybe this isn't it.
Um, yeah, like I feel like that from time to time. I do feel like that from time to time, but I feel also that we all have we all have $1 million ideas in us, right? We all
Yeah.
have like 17 directions that we can run in at one time. And sometimes it just takes a resolve to just stay with one thing long enough to
Right.
see it out. And I really feel that even in the days where I feel like kind of giving up on it, that I'm going to just continue to push through this and just see where it goes because it is just organically going in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. You said something very interesting, staying in something long enough to see it out. What does that even look like?
Exactly. Like that's I do a post called Finish Strong Fridays.
Okay,
Like every Friday, well when I had a Starbucks, that would be part of my routine to go to
got you.
Starbucks and do it. So finishing things strong. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I think when we get there, we'll know. Right? I think
I like that, finishing strong. You know what? It reminds me of a conversation that I've had in the past with people in just regards to like relationships, like romantic relationships. And I've always said that if it's a situation where you feel you have to leave the relationship, as long as you feel like you've done everything you possibly can on your part to fix whatever issues it was that you were having within it, then you can at least say, I did my best. So
yes.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the same concept applies with, jobs and career paths. If you feel like you've done
Right.
everything you can to get the best end
Mhm.
result of what it is that you're working towards, then if it comes to a point where you decide to switch it up and leave, at least you really tried.
Yes, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Finishing
Yeah,
strong. I like
yeah, yeah.
that.
And Harold's making a point here about opportunities, and I'll read it in a second, but that triggers
Okay.
something in my mind as well. When we're on a certain path, we see more opportunities fall in front of us. We see more doors open.
Yes.
And the struggle and the thing that kind of takes discernment for us is recognizing that there will be times when no more doors are opening, but you still have
Mm.
to keep pushing forward. And there's times when doors are opening wide and you aren't supposed to go through them. So it's not always as simple, like just keep going through the open doors thing. Sometimes like
Yes.
it takes a little bit more, for lack of a better word, discernment of understanding where you are, who you are, and where you're at, than just being blind and following opportunities, and to recognize what path you need to be on. So
I agree.
that's, you know, I
That's really good.
that's coming from someone who's like a proud member of Overthinkers Anonymous as well. So you got to recognize that.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, like opportunities won't always present themselves. I
Mhm.
think that in everybody's journey, there comes a time where you have to have the ability to create your own opportunities.
Yes.
And like you said, the discernment to understand which are the ones that you're supposed to walk through and which are the ones that, maybe just aren't up to the level that you're supposed to be at. So you need to leave those for
Yes.
somebody else.
Um, I, Full disclosure on the relationship side, I had a friend and client when I just started dating my now wife. Um, been divorced, and I was took some time off, didn't talk to anyone, didn't date anybody, and then this wonderful person comes along, and I'm talking with my client about it and saying it's just so easy. We just have these great conversations, and it's so fun, and all these
Yeah.
different things. And his response was, "And that's the way it's supposed to be."
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yes, I know. Like so,
Yes.
and that's the way it's supposed to be. And because everything had been work up until that point, work to, work in a relationship, work to make things just happen. You were forever manufacturing all these different things.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to something coming easy to me,
Just flowing.
something
And
flowing, being natural. So I was
for
pushing back against it.
for the nitpickers, because like especially if people decide to watch this after the fact, he's
Yes.
not saying that relationships don't take work, because we all know that they do, but it
Hmm.
shouldn't feel like you have to work in order to make it work. Like working is because you care and because you want to keep pushing it forward, but it shouldn't
Yes.
feel like you're forcing it to move forward.
Right, exactly. And when that work is reciprocated by the other person, then it doesn't feel like work anymore.
Reciprocation. Oh, my favorite word.
Yes.
Reciprocation is so important in
Yes.
every relationship, not
In
just
every
romantic.
relationship.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. They all translate to every plane of
Hmm.
life.
Yeah.
But that, so I'm not afraid of work. I'm not afraid of working hard in my relationship. But there's such a peace knowing that other person is working just as hard. They're reciprocating that energy that I'm putting out there in it.
Yeah. I
Um,
love that.
Yeah, but then it was an eye opener for me when my client said that to me, like that's the way it's supposed to be. Because yeah, I'm gonna work hard at something, but it shouldn't, like I should also recognize that sometimes things are just gonna fall in your lap sometimes as well, and be able
Yeah.
to embrace those things and
Yeah,
and
like the
run with those
snowball
as well.
can roll down the hill, and collect snow without you having
Yes.
to push it.
Right. With these core conversations as well, that it has been that like that, where people are just saying yes. Do you want to have a conversation? Yes. Like,
Good.
okay, that wasn't too tough. Like,
And
you know?
it's okay if they don't. I still feel like these days a lot of people have difficulty with the no.
Hmm.
But I would always like to know that I asked and I
Yes.
was told no, then have to wonder if I would have gotten a yes because I didn't ask. You know, so
Absolutely.
simply put, don't ask, don't receive. The
Right.
least you can do is ask.
Okay, so what do you do when you get a no? How do you handle no's in your business?
I keep it pushing
Hmm. Yeah.
because not everything is for me, you know. And there's always a reason why God, the universe, whatever it is that you subscribe to, has decided that you are not meant to have it, even if it's something that you want, right? And
Mm,
that applies
nice.
for self as well. You're not expected to say yes to everything. There's a lot of times, you know, that people want to work with me, and you know, the pay might be really, really good, and it might be something that like financially I might need at the time, but I might not necessarily need to say yes to that because maybe it doesn't subscribe to my focus at the time, you
Yes.
know,
Right.
or maybe that client specifically is not the kind of person that I would have a functional working relationship with
Hmm.
them, in which turn saying yes to that opportunity would be detrimental to me in the long run. So
Yes.
I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying about having the discernment, understand or filter and navigate what is for you and what is not, while keeping in
Yes.
mind your goals and your direction.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, no is a powerful word, right? Like, and I think when we can handle no's, we're
Yes.
better, and when we can say no, we are better.
Even better. Saying no is actually
Even.
something that was very difficult for me for a really, really long time because I don't like to disappoint people. I love when people
Right.
are happy and feel nice.
Hmm.
But something, I love words in general. Words, period,
Yes.
have a lot of power.
Mhm.
And I think understanding that no is also a really great, I think it's called anagram, acronym
Acronym.
for
Yes.
next opportunity. If
Ah,
you say
yes.
yes to everything, you're not going to have the capacity to say yes to
Hmm.
the things that you really need to. So you're going to
Hmm.
have to say no to some stuff so that you can keep space, so that you can keep
Yes.
space for the opportunities that you're really supposed to have. Same
Right.
thing with learning and digesting information. At
Hmm.
some point, you're going to have to get that information out of your brain, be it jotting it
Yes.
down on a piece of paper or sharing it with somebody else so that your
Hmm.
brain can create more space for more new information. Going
Yes.
off of what you were saying about, you know, getting sad about not getting, you know, the results that you're looking for, especially for people who are entrepreneurs and working for themselves, you know, going through those times when things don't feel right all the time, you know, so we might kind of get hard on ourselves.
Yes.
What do you do to cope with those down moments? Like, how do you bring yourself back into the positive to keep pushing forward?
Yeah, I love that question. That comes back to self-care. Like, how do we take care of ourselves? Like, what do we do that gives us energy?
Mm,
You know, do we spend time with people that give us energy? Do we do things that give us energy? One of the questions I've been asking people on this show is, what do you do besides Pilates?
oh,
Right? Like, what do you do besides music? What do you do
yeah,
besides whatever? What are your passions? Like, I love cars. I love classic cars. I like music.
dope.
I like whatever it is. So I'll find something that gives me energy
Right.
and do that. And not even necessarily as a distraction, just to kind of just like, there's other things out
Redirect your
there.
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because there's things like, there's a lot of good things that are still going on in our world, even at the point where we get a no.
Yeah, anything that I can do to create something that wasn't there
Yeah.
before, that's definitely my escape. And movies.
Movies.
Yeah.
So everything arts.
Everything arts.
Yes. Can you build anything? Like, you like
um, I can if
fell
I
a
have
tree?
materials.
Like, yeah.
I am like the ultimate, at least I would like to consider myself the ultimate MacGyver.
Okay.
I love to fix things and find creative solutions to problems. For
Yes.
example, and this is totally random, guys. I'm sorry. We're pivoting here.
Yes, we're pivoting.
Yesterday,
I'll
my
I'll bring it back in a minute. Go ahead.
okay.
Yes.
Yesterday, my brother broke the vacuum, and it had this latch. A piece of it snapped off. So
Mhm.
somehow, with a glue gun and two springs from pens, I
Okay.
fixed that shit.
There you go.
MacGyver.
MacGyver. I love MacGyver's been off the air forever, but everyone knows exactly what you're talking about when you
No
say
question.
I MacGyver that. It's a verb. I
Right.
MacGyvered that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
In terms of your business with this whole quarantine, COVID-19,
Yes.
and isolation, what pivots have you guys had to make to continue to grow your business and stay relevant?
Wow. Um, it's funny because our business is primarily based around like live events,
Hmm.
and bringing teams together to create amazing products. So with all the events and stuff getting canceled, we've made the big pivot to transfer things to online streaming
Yes.
again, which is what everybody else is doing. But we like to switch things up. We don't like to do things like everybody else is doing. So for weeks now, I've been researching, doing like production basically of
Yes.
streaming broadcasting so that we are able to fully produce whatever the programming might be, almost as if it were like an actual TV show.
Amazing.
So that's inclusive of like graphic overlays and transitions and making sure that both the audio and visual quality is like on point without
Yes.
having to rely on just the simple tools that say like Instagram and Facebook have provided for us. So we're really
Right.
trying to take things to the next level. And also, like a big part of my job with that is understanding that live events are very different than online events. But in order
Mm,
to create a similar or even a better experience, it will take different elements. So my job is to actually make that translation from live to streaming for people.
yes.
Yeah,
Will that allow for like interaction from the viewers as well, or is it more? Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
It's really cool, actually. I've been having a blast with
Yeah, I
it.
think I'll probably be picking your brain about that, just with the evolution of this as
Yeah,
well, like what kind of
no
streaming.
problem.
Yeah. We have done a full 50 plus minutes here. We're at a minute
Oh
and
my
52
God.
seconds.
Time flies when you're having fun.
No doubt. Do we have any questions for Miss Kerr here?
Let's see.
And the comment right after it. What this live is teaching so far? That this is so much money is spent on career opportunities in education and not on passions.
Yes,
You know,
very
it's
true.
true. It is true. I think though at the same time, my education has informed my passions. So I'd never say that my master's is a waste because I'm making my money off of a weekend certification course right now,
Yeah,
right?
because I
Like,
mean, it led you to it, right?
because it led it to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's all
I
good
think
stuff.
that's great.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I
No
really
problem.
appreciate this conversation and just what you're doing is so awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Uh,
This was fun.
Yeah, no problem. I'll send you the highlights of it and just stay connected on the Facebook group. And yeah,
Yay. Sounds
thanks so
good.
much.
Have a
Okay,
great day.
thanks, dude.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.